to the rock, sing to the tree, sing to the firefly lighting up the sky. Sing, sing to the sea.
Hello, I'm Mary Whelan, and this is The Song, a show that presents songwriters and their original songs. And today I am very pleased to introduce Hannah Elliott.
Don't have much years or wisdom in me, but I've never felt it was a curse. I want to belong and feel accepted, but misunderstandings always make it worse. I try to reach out and meet my neighbor, only to find he doesn't want to. He thinks I'm lost and wasting my life away. I think he's pompous and confused, but if I could hear you now, it wouldn't seem so loud. 'Cause I breathe clearer now and listen with my heart. I try to listen with my heart. You say no and I say yes. You see, we're no different from the rest of arguments that build and boil and bleed, making monsters of the best. I'm not saying that it's an easy thing, may seem impossible sometimes, to step beyond the confines of your dreams, put your feelings on the line. But if I could hear you now, it wouldn't seem so loud. 'Cause I breathe clearer now and listen with my heart. Try to listen with my heart. Clouded by anger, jealousy, and assumption, my true emotions so quickly get lost. Got to acknowledge the hurt that's inside me, if it's ever gonna get figured out. My neighbor needs my understanding, just like I need him to understand me. We've all got our problems and that ain't changing. The only thing we change is how we see. But if I could hear you now, it wouldn't seem so loud. 'Cause I Yeah, if I could hear you now, it wouldn't seem so loud. 'Cause I breathe clearer now and listen with my heart. I try to listen with my heart. My hope for the world isn't kept in white baskets, covered in flowers and washed by the rain, nor whispered in sadness like petals that fade at the first touch of heat or a late frost in May. Oh, this isn't a plea to you to stop your eyes from crying. But tell me if you found a way to keep your hope from dying now. I'd like to see justice for all in this land, and kids marching proudly in front of the band. But people, they tell me it isn't to be. Why not just give up, leave the battle and flee? But this isn't a plea to ask for a quick fix to the struggle. But will you help me find the missing pieces of the puzzle? How can we join together to stand up to the greater powers who keep pulling up all the flowers? Each morning I wake with a dream in my heart. By evening someone's tried to tear it apart. Well, I don't aim to fix and I don't claim to cure, but I know things can get better and I won't be deterred. No, this isn't a plea to ask for a quick fix to the struggle. But will you help me find the missing pieces of the puzzle? How can we join together now to stand up to the greater powers who keep pulling up all the flowers? My hope for the world isn't kept in white baskets, covered in flowers, then washed by the rain, nor whispered in sadness like petals that fade at the first touch of heat or a late frost in May. Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad you could come today, Hannah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I've
great
been
to be
looking
here.
forward to it. And now I met you at the Bridges Coffee House in Amherst. And I know you've been very involved with that, and maybe you can tell us something about that.
Yeah, so the Bridges Coffee House in Amherst is something that Dorothy Cresswell, who's been on this show several times, she and I started about 3 years ago. I was running the Not Bread Alone free community meal program at the time, and Dorothy was and is an active member of the church there. So we just had both been dreaming of something like this where people, any walk of life could come and share songs or poetry, stories, art in a really supportive, sort of non-traditional open mic setting. So it's been going great for 3 years, and unfortunately I had my last official Bridges a couple weeks ago because I'm going to be starting graduate school. I don't think I mentioned this to you. So I won't be able to be quite as involved as before, which is bittersweet. But it's been a really great thing to be a part of.
But the coffee house will still continue.
The coffee house is going to continue, and Dorothy is talking to a couple other people who may help lend a hand as well. But it's been a really great place where I feel like a lot of my songwriting has sort of taken root in a way at Bridges. For the first couple years or so, I used it as a challenge to try to write a new song each time, which I didn't always follow through on. But it was a great motivator.
Great. Now, what are you going to be studying in graduate school?
I'm going to graduate school to become a teacher, an elementary school teacher. So it's a master's program in teaching. I start in a few weeks.
Oh, cool. Now, I wonder, will you be able to incorporate your music
I hope
into
so.
your...
I really hope so. I've talked to some teachers at different age levels who have done that, and I really want to be one of those teachers who brings in her guitar and plays.
I know Dorothy used to use music a lot when she
in
taught
her kindergarten. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely hoping to incorporate that in some way.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you, in addition to playing solo, you also are part of a duo. Do you want to talk about that some?
Yeah, so I have a musical duo with my partner Dave Franklin, and our duo is called the Cartoon Moons. We started about 2 years ago, and we go to a lot of other open mics, sometimes Bridges and sometimes some other open mics in the Valley. And we also sometimes play at coffee shops and cafes, like Bread Euphoria is our main host. And we play a lot of covers and a few originals. We're working towards some more originals. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And we have a website if you want to check it out.
Yeah, what's your website?
Our website is, you can actually just type in thecartoonmoons.com. And thecartoonmoons.com. Yep. Okay. And it'll come up, and there's a few demos and some pictures and things like that. So we're working on some newer demos. Yeah.
And because you don't together do so many of the originals of you've written, you're here by yourself today.
Exactly.
But you're working on.
We're working on that, and we're hoping to write together in the future.
So he writes too.
A little bit, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, starting out. So we're hoping
that's
to.
Wonderful.
But it's really fun to do covers with a new sort of spin on them too. A lot of folk songs and things like Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan and
and audiences
like that.
They don't just want to hear original.
Right.
A lot of the time they want something they can sing along
recognize.
with.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
that they
fun
recognize.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about your songwriting process?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. It's sort of a difficult question to answer, but a good question to ask. I think when I think about my songwriting process, I think about how guitar and songwriting is often a really good coping skill for me. It's not always that I write a song when I'm, feeling an intense emotion, but a lot of times when I'm inspired to sit down and write a song, it's because I'm going through something that I'm trying to process, whether that's a positive or less than positive thing. And so I've found that writing songs is a really good way for me to work through whatever's going on. And also to make it, sound nice and, put chords and a melody to my feeling in a way that is sort of comforting and encouraging rather than just being like a really, if I'm feeling sad, I don't usually just write like a really extremely sad mellow song, but but then it makes it difficult sometimes if it was a difficult experience that led to that song and I want to play the song a couple years later, I'm not always so excited to revisit that. Sometimes
I've revised things a couple of years later.
That's something I'd like to do.
To make it more
contemporary.
More in tune with where I'm at that point.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think I might do that with, because there was a song that occurred to me yesterday as I was getting ready. Just suddenly came back. And I was like, I love this song, but I need to update it. So that's a great idea. And then I think I just got other inspiration from I mean, a lot of my songs you'll notice reference like the changing seasons and just other sort of big shifts that might be going on around me. So, yeah.
Now, do you sit down with your guitar and
like the process,
and always write with your guitar, or do you?
I usually write with my guitar. Clarinet is really my main instrument, actually.
Oh, clarinet.
Yeah, and I used to sometimes write on that a little bit, especially when I lived at home in Maine with my parents, where we had a piano. It was just I did some more like classical arranging type music. But yeah, now I usually write sitting down with my guitar. I usually start with the chords first, just sort of messing around, and then I try to work in lyrics, which I find is kind of challenging because I often get stuck on the lyrics. I have a great song or a song that I really like, and then I can't finish the lyrics. So I sometimes try to do it the other way, but it doesn't seem quite as natural.
Now, what about co-writing? Like if you had trouble with the lyrics, would you co-write with somebody?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do that, actually. Yeah, particularly in our duo in the Cartoon Moons. I think that would be a good way to start the co-writing process. And
I know sometimes, like a duo that I knew years ago, what they talked about was that one of them was really good at coming up with the chorus, and the other one was more about doing the verses, and so they would do different parts of the song.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, getting so many great ideas to go back and use. That's great. Thank you.
So anyway, is there anything else you want to make sure the viewers know about you and how to reach you? What about an email if there's somebody wanted you to
get in touch with me?
Get in touch with you. Should they do it through the website?
Well, my info should be on the website. We're also on Facebook, the Cartoon Moons on Facebook. My info is definitely there. Or my email address is hannahbalaban@gmail.com.
At Gmail. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
So that's another way to get in touch with me.
Oh, good.
And I guess the last thing I would say is that I definitely have been inspired throughout my life by my parents, who are really strong musicians, and I just grew up playing with them, and my dad's a songwriter. So just a little shout out to my parents.
Have you ever tried to write with your dad?
I think a little bit, a long time ago, not for a while though. That's another great idea. I'm going to go visit him this weekend, so maybe I'll try that.
That would be cool. So, anyway, I know you get some more songs to sing for us, and
definitely.
And I'm so glad you could come.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is great. Now the storm is gone and the air has cleared, and in the empty room there's nothing left to hear, but in the rubble left behind there is a voice stuck in my mind that sings to me. On the way downtown or just downstairs, when I'm leaving or when I'm just standing there, memories left behind clamor and claw inside my mind and sing to me. I hear the quiet of the back porch with the stars don't belong. When I grow old and then I die, what will the music be that I'm remembered by? And how will I feel about this day when it's been written in a tune that I can play? I hear the quiet of a back porch with the stars sprinkled out upon the lawn. The air was sweeter then, and I hear the rumors of winter peeking through the cold shadows of the trees. I'm stuck in memories. Let me go, please, out of your song. I don't belong. That was my latest song. Night falls on this love affair. How hard is she shaking? Will she ever move from there? She's standing in the mud, her arms open wide, so not to keep all the sadness inside. The love she can't hide. Who is to say that it wasn't contrived? And as she walks along, the leaves turn black and blue. They break without a sound, leaving her alone too soon. The grass turns to snow. Why? The snow covers grass, but it never lasts. She didn't know that by running so fast, all this would pass. She'd find her way back to sweetness at last. chance at the seeds that she has planted, trapped now beneath soil and sand. Birds fly low and stare. Hearts break, I know. Time can seem endless and painfully slow. She waited till the flowers had grown, bringing color and hope. The seasons fly and spin, the summer turns to fall. We can't have light without dark, we never see it glow. And if it always were warm, we'd lose the novelty. Hard times they hurt, but they give way to joy eventually. The grass turns to snow. Why, I don't know. The snow covers grass, but it never lasts. She didn't know that by running so fast, all this would pass. She'd find her way back to sweetness at last. It's hard to believe when the day is done that I am the one to whose arms you'll run. And it's hard not to fear as the cold comes on that you'll leave me here in this house alone, alone, in the house with a candle beside me. I sit and I ponder the love that might be. I don't know if you feel the same about me, and I wonder if I ever know. I wonder if I'll ever know. It's hard to believe when the day is done that I am the one to whose arms you'll run. And it's hard not to fear as the cold comes on that you'll leave me here in this house alone, alone in the house. I was with you this morning. You smiled in the way that I hoped that you would, like sun creeping out after 10 days of storming. I couldn't tell you how I felt, how your kisses, they made me melt. It's hard to believe when the day is done that I am the one to whose arms you'll run. And it's hard not to fear as the cold comes on that you'll leave me here there when I open my eyes. Well, you are the finest boy I've ever known, and you never show me a disguise. You're true as the sun does rise. It's hard to believe when the day is done that I am the one to whose arms you'll run. And it's hard not to fear as the cold comes on that you'll leave me here in this house alone. That you'll leave me here in this house alone. Would you leave me here in this house alone?